Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do another video for you guys and gals. Let me give you guys a forearm shot first. Right? Forearms are on point. Of course, you guys can see my vlogs. Remember, I've got other vlogs up of the lifts I've done this week. You can see what all I'm doing, see what I look like as I train. It's all there. But let's talk about being honest in our positions on things and being willing to change our position based upon evidence. So what's my current stance on multivitamins? Multivitamins has always been one of those cases where a lot of experts have said, and even other trainers are like, well, I take it as an insurance policy. My position has always been, well, the supplement industry is largely a scam. I am skeptical of anything that they make. By default, if the supplement industry touches it, I'm automatically a skeptic, right? And I will still say 95% of supplements are completely useless. A few that are useful might be a bit overrated. Some of them are legitimately good for certain medical environments, certain medical issues. Largely, other than like protein powders and stuff, they're mostly a ripoff. Protein powders, I think, are great. But multivitamins. I've always held that position, and I've always based that largely upon the fact that the whole concept of multivitamins was introduced upon a scam, right? What was it they used to tell people like 80 years ago to make all these vitamins? Well, you know, the soil's all depleted for modern agriculture. We don't get the vitamins. What would they call them? Vitamins back then. We don't get the vitamins. So the Brits call it vitamins. I lived there for 3 years. We don't get the vitamins that we need because the soil's been depleted. Well, soil depletion aside, and various approaches that are used with fertilizing and crop rotation, which is a part of agricultural science, the fact of the matter is we grow superfoods. All right, the superfoods that we're growing didn't exist in nature. So let's just kind of stop with that nonsense. Broccoli is an example. It's a superfood, crazy high in a lot of phytonutrients, certain antioxidants. Superfood doesn't even exist in nature. We cultivated that. Humans created that, right? They cultivated like 5 different vegetables from the same plant that didn't even really make a true vegetable to be higher in nutrients. Like we have developed superfoods, right? With selective breeding for hundreds of years, if not thousands. And then of course, then we have certain GMO stuff that does all that. We've come a long way. Like, so to worry about this is ridiculous. The soil depletion, as far as the vitamins in your food, it's ridiculous. I'm not saying soil depletion is not a real thing. So again, foods can replace this. But you know, the topic comes up, and what I've had to look at, 2 things caught my attention, you know, within the last 6 months. Number one, I found some studies, like a pretty large scale study that gave a good quality, a high quality multivitamin, not a junk one, to older populations that they were concerned that their diets might be deficient. What did they find? When they gave it to them versus placebo versus control groups, what happened? They found their oxidative stress was lower. It helped their blood work. They had less total oxidative stress in their body. Okay. So that's showing that at least on the population level and elderly people, there's at least some benefit happening here, right? Their health was not worse, so we didn't find it. It's always been my concern too, of what if you overdose on certain metals and things? This is a potential problem, but we're not really seeing it in these populations. So I don't know that it is a big problem. It was a concern of mine, but we're not seeing it appear in the data. Hold on, I'm trying not to sneeze. I don't want to split this video up or pause it. I want to run this through. I will not sneeze. All right. So we're not seeing the problem there. We're not seeing toxicity occurring from certain metals and deficiencies, too much zinc, removing the copper. So it's not happening there at the population level when it's given to a large number of people. We are seeing an improved health benefit, even if minor, still a health benefit. Okay, that's kind of a big deal. That's kind of a big deal. We're seeing only mild positives and no negatives, and they're not that expensive. All right. Not saying people should be taking a bunch of silly green powder, or you should be skipping your vegetables. You better be eating your vegetables on top of this. Then I looked at it and have seen things even come through news feeds of various longevity experts, people who have done their PhDs in the science of longevity. Okay, this is their area of expertise. Every one of them take a multivitamin. I found that interesting. Some of them are like, only take a handful of supplements. Well, I saw one of them. He's like, I forgot what all of it was. But he's like, I take a multivitamin, vitamin D. I take a fish oil, and it gives something else. It might have, I don't know if it was magnesium or something else. I forget what the fourth one was. So I apologize. But he's like, I take these. I take them as a longevity expert. This is what I do for me personally. Not saying that's what he tells everyone to do. Him personally. When you have a guy who's a leading researcher and a PhD in the field of longevity, he's like, well, this is what I personally do. But he's not slapping a brand on and trying to sell anything. That got my attention. And I noticed all these experts in that sort of field, they all personally take a multivitamin and give one to their families. See where I'm going with this? Am I saying this is conclusive evidence? No. But what I'm seeing is I'm not seeing my concerns were certain imbalances, toxicities. I'm not seeing that come out in the data, but we're seeing some improved health markers. I've also seen some where they've given them to people in prisons and stuff who may not have the best diet, right? Where they do that, and then what do you see? Kind of the same thing. Some of their health markers improve behavior, like, okay, there's at least a decent amount of data at this point starting to show, all right, maybe a high quality multivitamin has some minor health benefits. Doesn't appear to be negatives. And then some of these other experts in their own personal lives make the choice to take one literally just as an insurance policy. That thing I used to roll my eyes at. But these are very smart, very educated people. And it's not like this is a different area. You can't say, well, they're smart and educated there, but they don't know anything about music. Okay, fair enough. But they do know a lot about health and longevity and how people live to be 90 and 100 and stave off these diseases. This is their area of knowledge and experience and education as highly intelligent people. I don't think that I should overlook that. And so for me, I personally started taking a relatively inexpensive but high quality multivitamin recently, a few weeks ago. But for me to take something like that after my position, I do feel, and I did it based upon all that. So for me to do that, I don't think it would be intellectually honest for me to not state why my position has changed and then say, yeah, I'm taking one right now. Because again, that wouldn't be fair and it would be dishonest. So I just felt like this video, just so that I would feel like I am not lying to my audience, I feel like this video needed to be made. Like, and not about, hey, I'm taking a multivitamin or I'm trying to pimp one. It's a case of I decided to start taking one for these reasons. So let me explain why my position has changed based upon evidence and listening to very educated people. Me personally listening to them and saying, okay, I'm going to take one. I mean, it makes sense at this point, but I've kind of been wishy-washy on them in the past and kind of been like, I don't think there's a need. So I felt like I needed to explain that, just so that I'm not putting out a mixed message. So I will add multivitamins onto a list of maybe useful supplements that we can't say with absolute certainty, but potentially helpful to you, healthy to you. Just don't take a cheap one with a bunch of contaminants in it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals